Hi there, and welcome to the Celeb Tea, Yolanda Hadid. The name alone evokes images of elegance, discipline, and the picture-perfect life of a woman who seemed to have it all. A successful model, a proud mother of two of the most famous faces in fashion, and a figure of calm sophistication on television. To millions, she embodied grace, a symbol of beauty, wellness, and family values. But behind the polished photos and serene interviews lay a story far more complex. A story that blended pain, doubt, resilience, and controversy. From her much-debated battle with chronic Lyme disease and her unconventional approaches to healing, to her very public feuds on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and even a tense family incident involving singer Zayn Malik, Yolanda's life has been anything but ordinary. Tonight, we look deeper into the woman behind the headlines to explore the layers of fame, health struggles, and personal battles that defined the controversial journey of Yolanda Hadid, the rise of a Dutch dream. Long before Yolanda became a household name in America, she was a young girl with big dreams growing up in the Netherlands. In the 1980s, she began carving out a career in the competitive world of modeling. With her striking features and strong work ethic, she quickly made her mark across Europe and later in the United States. Her rise was steady and disciplined. She, too, worked with top designers, graced countless runways, and became a familiar face in international campaigns. But more than the glamour, Yolanda was admired for her poise and her commitment to maintaining balance, a trait that would later define her public persona. Eventually, her path crossed with real estate developer Mohammed Hadid. The two married and built what appeared to be a fairy tale life, raising 3 children, Gigi, Ella, and Anwar, who would later follow in her footsteps as models. Together, they became one of the most glamorous families in Beverly Hills, admired for their lifestyle, beauty, and success. A star on reality TV. When Yolanda joined the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2012, she brought with her a sense of European elegance and calm. Viewers immediately noticed how different she was from the chaos around her. She spoke about family values, wellness, and the importance of living a clean and balanced life. Her home, filled with lemon trees and pristine interiors, seemed like a reflection of her disciplined mindset. She wasn't just another reality star. She, who appeared to be the voice of reason amid the drama, the devoted mother, the woman who kept her composure while others lost theirs. But as the seasons went on, something shifted. The polished image began to crack, and Yolanda's personal life, particularly her health, started taking center stage. The mysterious illness. It began subtly. Yolanda started feeling constantly fatigued, achy, and foggy-headed. At first, she brushed it off as exhaustion, the kind of tiredness that comes from juggling motherhood, work, and the constant demands of being in the spotlight. "I remember feeling like I had the flu that just wouldn't go away," she once recalled. "It hit me like a truck, joint pain, exhaustion, brain fog. Then it would disappear for a few days, only to come back even stronger." She tried to push through it, believing she could simply power her way out of whatever it was. But over time, the symptoms intensified. Soon, she was unable to ignore them. After countless tests and doctor visits, Yolanda revealed on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that she had been diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease, a long-term, controversial illness that she said had stripped her of her energy, focus, and joy. From model to advocate, Yolanda's life changed overnight. No longer just the glamorous socialite, she became a public advocate for Lyme disease awareness. Viewers watched as she underwent IV treatments, took supplements, and pursued every possible therapy to get better. She shared her experiences online and on the show, documenting her ups and downs with raw honesty. At first, fans sympathized deeply. Here was a woman who had seemingly everything: beauty, fame, wealth, and yet was battling an invisible enemy that money couldn't fix. She called herself a soldier of Lyme, determined to shed light on a condition she felt was misunderstood and often dismissed by the medical community. But as her openness increased, so did the skepticism. Critics, including some medical professionals, began to question the legitimacy of her treatments and even the diagnosis itself. Chronic Lyme disease, they argued, wasn't universally recognized, and there was limited scientific evidence to support some of the unconventional methods she embraced. Still, Yolanda remained firm. She insisted that her pain was real and that people needed to be more compassionate toward those suffering from invisible illnesses. Her fight wasn't just against Lyme disease, it was against disbelief, against judgment, against the idea that someone as strong and disciplined as her could be faking it. A battle beyond the body. The controversy only deepened when some castmates and fans began whispering that Yolanda's illness might be exaggerated or even fabricated for attention, a claim she vehemently denied. "I was told that someone accused me of having Munchausen syndrome," she later shared, referring to a psychological disorder where someone feigns illness for sympathy. "It was the biggest blow I've ever experienced in my life. I laughed at first, thinking it was ridiculous. I didn't even know what the word meant. But when I learned its definition, it broke me." That moment marked one of the darkest periods in her life. Not only was she fighting a debilitating illness, but now she had to defend her integrity and mental health in front of the world. The accusations hurt deeply, and they exposed the cruel side of fame, where vulnerability is often turned into entertainment. As Yolanda's health struggles unfolded publicly, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills became more than just a reality show for her. It turned into a battleground of perception. Some cast members showed concern and empathy, while others whispered doubts behind her back. The Munchausen accusation became one of the show's most infamous storylines, forever tying Yolanda's name to controversy. For Yolanda, it wasn't just about fighting disease anymore, it was about protecting her truth. Her body was failing her, yet she was being forced to prove that her suffering was real. "I lost my dignity," she once confessed. "I lost my health, my identity, and the belief that people would naturally understand my pain." Throughout this difficult time, Yolanda continued to search for answers. She traveled to multiple countries, experimenting with different treatments, from traditional medicine to alternative therapies. She shared pictures of IV drips, supplements, and even hospital stays, hoping her openness would help others facing similar struggles. But her transparency also fueled debate. Was she spreading awareness, or was she unintentionally promoting questionable treatments? The line between bravery and controversy grew thinner with every post. In 2015, her marriage to David Foster, a celebrated musician and producer, came to an end. Many speculated that her illness had taken a toll on their relationship. Yolanda later admitted that being chronically ill changed everything, not just her health, but her emotional world too. "When you lose your sense of independence," she reflected, "you also lose a part of yourself that your partner once knew." Despite heartbreak, Yolanda refused to give up. She published a memoir, "Believe Me, My Battle with the Invisible Disability of Lyme Disease," detailing her painful journey. The book was both raw and defiant, a personal testimony meant to silence critics and empower others. She described days when she couldn't get out of bed, moments when she felt misunderstood by her peers, and her ongoing mission to raise awareness about invisible illnesses. Just when it seemed her life had quieted down, another storm emerged, this time involving her family. In 2021, Yolanda became part of a highly publicized dispute involving her daughter Gigi's then partner, Zayn Malik. Reports claimed there was a heated confrontation between Zayn and Yolanda, leading to a temporary media frenzy. While the details remained private, it reignited public curiosity about the Hadid family's dynamics and Yolanda's protective role as a mother. Through it all, Yolanda stood firm in her identity, a woman of resilience and conviction. Critics may have questioned her, but she continued to advocate for wellness and balance. She retreated from the spotlight for a while, focusing on healing, family, and rediscovering peace away from fame's relentless glare. Today, Yolanda Hadid remains a figure of both admiration and debate. To some, she is a warrior, a mother and survivor who fought an invisible battle with grace. To others, she represents the blurred line between reality and performance that fame often creates. But one thing is undeniable: Yolanda's story sparked conversations that transcended celebrity gossip. It challenged how we view chronic illness, empathy, and truth in a world obsessed with perfection. Behind every filtered image, Yolanda reminded the world that pain can exist even in the most beautiful lives, and that sometimes the hardest battles are the ones no one can see.